Thank you very much for the invitation to present the work of the European Library in this very interesting Congress. So I will be presenting the European Library and the Europeana Libraries project and the services that the European Library provides or aims to provide for the researchers. So I am Nuno Freire. I work in the European Library as a researcher in information systems. But the presentation today will be generally on the general services that the European Library provides, without many technical details, I'd say. So the presentation is structured in this way. I will initially speak about the history of the European Library, how it was built and established as a service. I'll talk a little bit afterwards about the relationship between the European Library and the Europeana. And I'll finish with a presentation of the most recent developments in the European Library, where it's redesigning itself to focus on the researchers as users. So the European was actually launched in 2005, and it covers not only the European Union but the whole Council of Europe. So it has a wider geographic coverage. The services that the European Library was aiming to provide to the libraries as its members was first to provide some financial support. Part of it comes from the consortium CENL, the Consortium of European National Librarians, and also by organizing and coordinating European projects. So it focuses on a service of aggregation of the bibliographic metadata that exists in libraries and provides a single access point to this data. So it also works as a way to showcase the collections that the libraries have and make available for their readers. And has an exhibition program where occasionally special exhibitions are made on the internet about special collections or special themes which are relevant on a European scale. And the European Library also works as a way for improving the visibility and the marketing of libraries themselves. So the work on the European Library actually started much before 2005, when it was actually established as a regular service. It started with Project Gabriel in 1997, which was a directory of all the collections held by the national libraries of Europe. So the establishment of the European Library was then addressed in a new project, which was called TEL project, which ran from 2001 to 2004. And in this project, it addressed on one way, in one side, the business model for this organization, how it could be sustained and provide fundings to work in a sustainable way, and also to investigate a technical infrastructure that would allow all the aggregation of the catalogs of the national libraries of Europe. So after the end of this project, the European Library was then established as an actual service with a business model. So it's as an organization in 2005. After that, a success of projects was run and coordinated by the European Library with the aim of bringing more libraries into the European Library. So from 2006 to 2008, we had a project Tell Me More. so, which helped many libraries from many national libraries from all across Europe, mostly from the Eastern Europe countries, to join the European Library. Project Help Us ran from 2007 to 2008 and to 2009, aimed at also bringing a few more countries into the European Library, and also to allow the improvement of the European Library in terms of functionality in its portal. It also was the first project to provide a centralized service for a pan-European full-text search in the European Library. So in 2007, the launch of Europeana also was done from a project based on the European Library. And during 2008 and 2009, project Fumagaba was also financed by Switzerland, and also integrated into the European Library a few more national libraries. So there is currently, there are 48 national libraries represented in the European Library. So the exhibition program of the European Library allows special interesting collections to be displayed and focusing on special themes to allow greater visibility for the end users across Europe and across the world. So we had special collections on very specific themes like the Napoleonic Wars, the treasures held at the national libraries, or the most precious contents that the national libraries have. A special collection also on traveling through history, a special collection about traveling in Europe, etc. So about Europeana and the European Library. So Europeana was an European funded project. It started in the European Library, and it was focusing mainly on digital content. So while the European Library was interested in every collection that the national libraries had, Europeana was focusing now on a service only for digital objects, those that the end user could access through the internet. Europeana also, although the scope was narrow to digital objects, on the other side it was broader because it also included other domains, not just libraries. It includes also museums, archives, and film archives. Around Europeana, there are also several projects in terms of national aggregation. In Spain, that's one of the cases where there is a special particular project for aggregating digital objects from the cultural domain. So currently, Europeana provides access to 23 million records, and it includes more than 2,000 institutions all across Europe, with 33 countries represented. So this is the main portal of Europeana, where it's possible to search and browse digital objects from all across Europe. One of the important ongoing activities around Europeana are the collections around the First World War. So, and this is a portal around this activity in Europeana. So the new European Library, is now extending. The European Library is now extending into focusing into a special group of users, the researchers. So currently the European Library is running Project Arrow Plus. Arrow Plus is a project that aims to help libraries with ongoing mass digitization projects to clear the rights for digitization and making the projects available in the internet after digitization. So it's about getting the permission, locating the authors, and acquiring permission when they are under copyright for making them available. The European Library also participates in Enumerate, a project focusing on gathering statistics about digitization projects all across Europe. Project Europeana Libraries, which is establishing the European Library as a new portal focusing on researchers and allowing also the participation not just of national libraries but also of research libraries all across Europe. I'll talk a little bit more on European libraries afterwards. Project European newspapers. In this project, the European Library is aggregating full text content from newspapers from all across Europe. In Sendari, the European Library is working together with the digital humanities infrastructures, so to allow better use of the data from libraries together with the researchers in digital humanities. In Project DigiCore, the European Library is working with open access publications from researchers. And in a future project, Europeana Cloud, the European Library will be working in setting up a service to make easier to participate in Europeana and sharing objects with Europeana using cloud technology. And so some more details about Europeana Libraries. So in Europeana Libraries is a project which started a few years ago. It's still ongoing. It ends by the end of this year. And in this project, the European Library aimed to define a new business model that would allow the participation of research libraries. And it also addresses the aggregation of contents from some of the library partners into the European Library and into Europeana. It aims to establish the European Library as a European-wide aggregator also for Europeana. So during this project, the European Library portal was completely redesigned, more or less following the same philosophy, let's say, behind the Louvre, with a look, in a way, having the old look, formal look, and also with showing a bit of modern technologies, like the pyramid in the center. During the European Libraries project, there was an extensive user testing of the new design of the portal. End users tested the portal, tried to work with the portal, and to see whether it would provide a good service and for the researchers. So it included about 20 volunteers with very different profiles, and their behavior was monitored, and they answered questionnaires for us to create an evaluation of the service itself. So the new European is now online since a couple of months ago. It aims now to focus on the researchers as the target user group. It provides free online access to the collections of national and research libraries across Europe, so currently covering 46 countries. It provides access to more or less 200 million records or resources from libraries, and it has a corpus of 24 million pages of full text content. And also, of all this content, about 10 million are digital objects available online. So the result of the end users was evaluation was pretty positive. Researchers are kind of they see the value of the European Library as a tool. There's still much work to be done in integrating more and more libraries across Europe. So the European Library already has a quite world coverage on its users, so with a strong participation in Europe, but also outside of Europe. And it aims into providing quality and value for libraries. So, in a way, it provides partnership in projects to cooperation with the European Library and its participants. It provides aggregation services by providing one single access point to all the participating libraries and distributing its data for several purposes, like for Europeana. It's also trying to be a platform for knowledge sharing amongst libraries. The European Library runs work groups for discussion amongst the members on particular issues that are of interesting for the libraries. Like there is the technical working group for technical aspects. It also runs a metadata working group for all the aspects regarding the interoperability of metadata across Europe. The European Library also tries to coordinate and set up European projects, so with its members, and it's a showcase for the libraries to present their own collections and making it more available over the internet. So to be a member in the European Library, there is in place a formula so that each library may provide a financial contribution that is appropriate for its size and for the country that the library is in. So the fee may vary depending on the economic indicators of the country. And also depending on the size of the library, like how many staff members are in the library. So, and depending on these factors, the fee for participating in the European Library may fall within 500 to 5,000 euros per year. So in libraries, for bringing into the European Library, consortiums of libraries, there are special discounts based on the number of libraries. So just a quick demo of the main functionalities of the European Library portal. So one of the key points of the portal is in the European context is to be multilingual. So we provide the user interface is translated into many languages used throughout Europe. And it aims to provide, the main service is to provide to increase the visibility of the resources held in libraries. This is based on a simple search mechanism, based on a simple search box. The portal also showcases the contributors, which are part of the European Library. So there is a possibility to view details about each institution. And also the individual collections that each provider may make available in the European Library. So here we have an example of the use of the portal to search for Cervantes. Here we're using the user interface changed to Spanish. And on the simple search box, we search for Cervantes. And this is the main results page where the query, the results of the query can be displayed in 3 tabs, which are on top. On the first tab, we can see the results from all the resources that the European has in its repository. On the second tab, we see results on the full text contents that the European Library aggregates. And on the third tab, we see remote search results, so results which are on collections which are not held inside the European Library, but can only be searched on the library's systems. So on the right side, we have ways to help the user to fine-grain or navigate the results and try to find the specific resources that he's looking at. We can see this search facets for its filtering by provider, filtering by those which are available online, those which are only available at the library, so which are books or physical objects where the user needs to go to the library to actually access them. The results can also be filtered by discipline, which is by subject, let's say, by language, by the data provider, or by specific collections. There's also a way to navigate the search results by focusing or by narrowing the year of publication. Once the user goes into a single record page, so once he chooses a result of what he wants to look at, he will be shown the complete metadata record about that resource. So we have a thumbnail on the left corner, and on the right corner we have services which the user may use for this particular object, like accessing the object online, looking for similar objects within the European Library, or integration with the systems or reference systems that researchers use to manage their bibliography, like Mendeley and Zotero. So access to the actual digital objects is also always made not on the European Library, but on the library that really holds the contents. So the European Library only works as an intermediary. When the user is actually accessing the object, it goes into the sites of the libraries. So in this case, it's going to Biblioteca Digital Hispánica. So thank you very much. I hope it was interesting.